Welcome back to Israel First. Coming back to you after a small little break. I'm working on some things, but today I wanted to take a look at the Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, Mr. Arieh King. Israel First had a very interesting interaction with him late last week, and he actually responded on X. So I wanted to break that down and take a look just to understand what kind of politicians we have here in Israel, and whether they be left or right. Ultimately, it seems to be that they all fall into the Israel last camp. So let's just take a look. I think it's very interesting and very informative about our current situation. So let's take a look. So this was January 27th, about a week ago. Okay, so let's just zoom in here a little bit. Let's just zoom in. Jerusalem municipal taxes are higher than ever, and there are Arabs employed by the city that sit around all day doing nothing but screwing around. And nobody seems to notice or care. What's going on, Arieh King? Now, as you can see in this picture, these are municipal workers with these yellow vests. They work for the city. And what are they doing? Who knows? Certainly not work. So, Mr. King. Now, notice the time, right? The time was, let's see, do we have a time here? Well, maybe not. Mr. King, you send Arab bus checkers to hound taxpayers on the bus and treat us like criminals. But who's checking your Arab workers who take paychecks and fool around all day? If you want us to keep voting for you, we're going to need answers. At Arieh King. Now here's the thing, Arieh King is a right-wing nationalist. That's what he is. No, I'm not questioning whether the fact that he's right-wing or not. That's not the issue. The issue is this man Israel first? Doesn't seem like it. Again, we're talking about the deputy mayor. This is someone who was appointed by his fellow city council members to be the deputy mayor. So obviously he has a lot of sway in the city. Well, let's take a look. Maybe that's just the one-off, right? Maybe that's just the one-off. So, you can't go too crazy about this. 1045, Yaffo and King George Street. Don't really have to look too far. Maybe you ought to hire me as a checker. I bet I can save the city a ton on fraudulent wages. And as we can see, 1045, right? Here we have another municipal worker sitting around talking with this nice gentleman over here, garbage pail in the street. This is money. This is taxpayer money. Again, 1057. Oh, what do we have here? Another municipal worker, just lounging around. Not a lunch break, not at 1057. Oh, what's this? 1059. There you have it. These are employees, individuals, being paid by the city of Jerusalem at a time when municipal taxes are higher than ever. At a time that the city has raised transportation costs. At a time when virtually every city bus in Jerusalem has a bus checker to check the passengers to make sure that they are not cheating the city. Meanwhile, people being hired by the city are lounging around all day, doing virtually nothing. Now, you would think that, according to what people tell us, a right-wing nationalist like Arieh King would say, oh, this is a problem. Right? One would think. This is a guy who goes out there and says, I'm a Zionist, as we'll soon see. I'm right-wing. You would think he would say, oh my God, I didn't realize how bad it was. We need to do something. Well, don't let me spoil this surprise. So, which company employs them? They should see. Do they like seeing their money run down the drain? The city, as a taxpayer, I'm hiring them. Thanks to council members like Arieh King, who campaigns on one thing and then does the opposite. Again, has anyone seen anything very inflammatory here? Any personal attacks against Arieh King? No. This is strictly on policy and results. That's it. Did anyone call him something derogatory like baldy? No. No. Did anyone call him a low IQ buffoon? No. Well, let's see. Now, Arieh King replies amazingly. Well, let's just see his replies first. Arieh King, an anonymous individual unwilling to reveal what you've actually done in your life for the land of Israel, the people of Israel, or the Torah of Israel, yet constantly looking to stir up strife and controversy. So the reply, controversy, Arab workers stealing taxpayer money in broad daylight is controversial? I'm sure your voters are going to love to hear that one. Any more quotes for the record? But think about that. What is the controversy here? The controversy is that we have municipal workers sitting all around the city and doing nothing and effectively stealing taxpayer money. That's controversial? According to Arieh King, that's controversial. I'm not sure why, but there you have it. As to unwilling to reveal what you've done in your life for the land of Israel, people of Israel. Again, Arieh King is taking this very personally. What does any of that have to do with this? So what he's saying is only a person that has a long resume of things that they've done, whether they have done them or not, Arieh King basically says, hey, you're just a pissant voter. I don't have to listen to you. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. Which, again, you see, here is what's amazing. What's amazing is this is not about Arieh King. Arieh King is a nobody. He's really a nobody. He's riding a wave of popularity because the public doesn't really know who he is. And we're going to make our efforts to change that. And ultimately, we have a man here who is stupid enough to admit how little he thinks about the electorate. Now, I know all of the politicians think this way. I know that. I know Netanyahu himself thinks this way, and Ben Gvir and Smotrich, all of them. But they're not stupid enough to tell a voter this on a public platform. Arieh King is a very stupid person. Now, it worked in our benefit because now everyone can see what people like Arieh King are really about. Their attitude is, hey, I'm somebody. Arieh King says, I'm somebody, and you people are all nobody. That's his attitude. But it doesn't end there. Let's see. I think does he reply? Oh. Mitzi, why don't you just answer his question? Of course Arieh King won't answer the question. Of course not. Well, how could Arieh King answer the question? He's in a tough spot here. So let's see. Let's see what else. Arieh King. I bet this is just another account belonging to someone who hasn't achieved anything significant for Zionism. What does that have to do with that? Whether that's true or not, what does that have to do with anything? What this is that Israel asked elitist politicians looking down on the general public. Oh, you haven't won public office. You're nobody, not like me. I am a great man. I don't have to answer to people like you. Again, I'm just showing him what's going on in his city. And this is the reaction. This is a reaction of an entitled, arrogant fool who in his own mind believes that he lords over the rest of the public and owes no explanation. Nothing. All that comes from Arieh King is insults. That's it. That's it. No, Arieh King is a terrible politician, by the way. Let's say that. If Arieh King had a brain, which clearly he doesn't, and he had any measure of self-control, which he doesn't, he would say, look, this is really bad. We're going to look into it. This is very serious. That's what a normal person would say. That's what a person who's not a condescending egomaniac would say. But Arieh King is a condescending egomaniac with a very low IQ and absolutely zero self-control. That's what Arieh King is. How typically Israel asked, I achieved for the state, so now I'm entitled to hire Arabs who sleep on the job and steal your tax money. But isn't that just it? Isn't that just it? I'm entitled to do this. I'm entitled to destroy your city and steal your money. That's Arieh King. That's Arieh King. Israel last buffoon. Arieh King. It allows public officials like myself to confront the public openly. Again, this is his attitude. The public is an entity meant to be confronted. Arieh King, are you not aware that you are a public servant? That's what you are. You're a public servant. You are voted by the public. Might I mention, I am a Jerusalem resident. I have voted for Arieh King multiple times. And he looks at people like me as the enemy. I need to be confronted. Why? Why do I need to be confronted? Because I had the audacity to see what's going on in the streets of Jerusalem and say, Arieh King, what's going on here? That's why I need to be confronted. A citizen who has the temerity to go out there and question our wise overlords that we vote for, that needs to be confronted. There you have it. This, Arieh King, is Israel last in a nutshell. It's them, the elite, those who believe that they rule over us, versus the people. That's what this is about. That's what Israel first versus Israel last is all about. But that's who these people are. They're insane. And here's the most important point. Remember, this is not right versus left. It's not. Arieh King is not left at all. He's not left. Arieh King, you are a perfect example. Voters who have to be confronted and defeated, apparently. We have to be defeated by people like Arieh King. This man is the perfect example of what Israel last truly is. Let's see if I could find one more. I think there is one more, if I'm not mistaken, but I have to find it. Let me see. Let me see if I could pull this up real quick. And this guy is really, like I said, a very, very stupid man. A very, very stupid man. Who knows? Maybe Jerusalem municipal elections will be Israel first political, like electoral entry point. Who knows? Who knows? Because these are the people that have to be defeated ultimately. They are. Let's just see. Is there another one? I think there is. There's this one. Let's pull this up. Now of course, I here, look. I'll give you a chance here, Arieh King. Let's clear the air. Will you commit to looking into this rampant abuse of taxpayer money by municipal workers? Can we get your commitment on this? Nothing. No, of course not. Of course not. Here. This was the one I was looking for. Excellent. Now, right? We said about the you're anonymous. Check out how Arieh King, Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, responds to taxpayers pointing out that his legion of Arab laborers are ripping off Jerusalem taxpayers. It's no wonder why the situation is so bad in the city. Just another Israel last crony. Sad! Exclamation point. I'm thinking of taking out ads with this response to my tweet. What do you think, Arieh King? You think the voters will agree with me or agree with you? Arieh King, you are more than welcome. Baruch Hashem, my voters are smarter than you. Yeah, his voters are so smart, they accept... Well, you know what? We'll find out. I was going to say that they'll accept his abuse. I'm not sure that they will, by the way. I'm not so sure about this. I'm not so sure, Arieh King, that your voters are not only okay with the bad situation, but your attitude towards it. You see, you could say, hey, you know, I'm trying my best, which would probably be nonsense, but he could lie. You see, if Arieh King had any brains and even any decency, he would just lie. He would just lie. He would say, I'm trying my best. You know, I get that kind of response from Ben Gvir's office all the time. And it drives me up a tree, but I'll give his office credit. They are never, ever condescending to me, even when I'm a little bit condescending to them. Never. So I'll give Ben Gvir's office a lot of credit. They are very professional. They know exactly what they're doing, even when they're lying. Arieh King, his attitude is, hey man, I could do whatever I want, you're nobody, keep your mouth shut. That's what he said. That's what he said. Anyway, you are a shallow individual hiding behind an anonymous profile. What is Arieh King's obsession with anonymity? What is it? I mean, is Arieh King threatening to what? To come to my house? Is that what he said? Like, I don't understand this. What is the issue with the anonymity? Now, I know he's a boomer, but in case he hadn't noticed, most accounts on X are anonymous. Maybe he's not aware of this. But, you know, does this not seem like a threat, by the way? I'm hiding behind it? Arieh King, is there a reason, like, I should have to hide? Like, is that what you're implying? That if I wouldn't be hiding, you would somehow do something to me? I mean, is this what we're talking about? I mean, very unclear. Public officials should not be making public threats like this. But okay, that's fine. I'm not really that worried about Arieh King, to be fair. You know, he's really a nobody. But still, I don't know. The guy seems deranged. Yeah, you're like walking down the stairs. You gotta look over your shoulder, make sure Arieh King doesn't jump out and attack me. You know. Anyway, my voters know that the Israel law allowing me to do and what the law is not allowing me. Shabbat Shalom, bot. So again, I'm a bot because I see what goes on in the city. We have evidence of it in multiple instances within 30 minutes of each case, but we're bots. We're all bots. Everyone who dares to question Arieh King as a bot, that's how it works. In case you didn't know, that if you're paying attention at home, if you have a problem with Arabs stealing taxpayer money, you are a bot. Congratulations. We are Israel First bots. All of us. We are all Israel First bots. That's very interesting to know. Okay, now, as for, the law is not allowing me. The law is not, but interestingly enough, you see, had Arieh King said something just like this, right, to my original post, said, look, the law doesn't allow me to take care of this. I'm sorry. It's a bad situation. The law doesn't allow me to. I wish there was more I can do. That is what a normal person would say. And not a raving lunatic like Arieh King. But the response, Israeli law doesn't allow you to audit city workers that routinely sleep on the job? You honestly think your voters are going to buy that line? Incidentally, Israeli citizens and Jerusalem residents like myself who have a problem with a broken, corrupt city are not quote-unquote bots. But just imagine that. Arieh King is saying, the law will not allow me. It won't allow me. If we walk down the street at literally at any point of the day in which there is daylight, if you walk down the street at any single point when there's daylight outside, you can see municipal workers, most of them on their phone all day. All day long, they're on their phone. They're on their phone, they're smoking, they're drinking coffee, they're talking to their friends. They're sitting around. This was not some kind of like expose. We're hiding with binoculars. Literally, I mean, you could just walk down the street and see this at any point in the day. And according to Arieh King, the law will not allow him to do anything about it. I mean, what kind of line is that? We're supposed to believe this? That's the line he's going with? And even if that was the line, why not just come out and say that? Instead of being like a deranged lunatic. You're anonymous. Tell me who you are so I can show up at your house. like all these like weird things. You're a bot. You're trying to bring in strife and controversy again, as if this is controversial. So to not continue to beat the dead horse that is the failing campaign of Arieh King, and his campaign will go right down the toilet. When we get involved, his campaign will swirl the drain. And here's the point to remember, because we're going to hear this from a lot of people. But if Arieh King loses, the left will win. And here's what we say. The Israel last right and the Israel last left are exactly the same to people like me. Why do I care? Why do I care? If you are Israel last, I am not interested in you. And why Arieh King and people like him are the most dangerous is because almost everyone knows that the left is no good. They're useless. For the most part, they're idiots. They don't really care about the country. So they're easy to dismiss. It's really not hard. It's not hard to dismiss the left. But people like Arieh King, they use this like right-wing label to blind the public to the fact that they are actually Israel last. That is the problem. And that is why we must call them out and we must expose them. Because if we don't, and again, I'm being fair to the public. Like I said, I personally have voted for Arieh King multiple times. So I am just as guilty as anyone else. How would I know that someone like Arieh King would look at this and say, yeah, this is not a problem. I don't care. How dare you? How dare you bring this to my attention? And also notice that, see, a guy like Arieh King only replied once the tweet started to get a little bit more, rough. When the first tweet came out and just said very plainly, look, what's going on here? Nothing. Arieh King doesn't respond. Only when it comes out, the threat against his campaign, the threat of saying he campaigns on one thing and does the opposite, then he comes out. Then he comes out guns a-blazing. So what does that tell you? People like Arieh King are not Israel first. They're Arieh King first. Threaten the city and whatever, all the taxpayer, he doesn't care. All these things don't matter to Arieh King. Threaten his campaign by saying, if you don't do something, we're going to start exposing you to the public. All hell breaks loose. That is what it comes down to for people like Arieh King. And he's not the only one at all. But the reason why I point out Arieh King, and I specifically am focusing on Arieh King, is because more than anyone else, certainly in the Jerusalem municipal elections, he is out there waving the flag of religious Zionism and nationalism. Look at it. He spoke about how much he did for Torah Eretz Yisrael. I don't know, to be fair, I'm a religious person. I have no idea what that means. He has done something for the Torah. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. The Torah doesn't need my help or his help. But again, he's just a raving lunatic. This guy's completely out of control. But it's fine, because all of these people will soon enough be replaced and soon enough be shown the door, because the public is getting tired of it. A lot of people are not recognizing it, but once it starts to make its way out there, it's going to be impossible to put that genie back in the bottle. So good luck to Arieh King. I certainly hope you respond in an equally demented and deranged way in the future. We love to see your tweets. They're outstanding. They make for tremendous content, and ultimately, they will be the propeller that drives the Israel First boat or train or plane all the way across to the finish line, because the public has had enough of people like you.